I said in the Ukraine.
Okay.
The Ukraine, men can be drafted up to 65.
Well, I disagree with the draft.
Okay, got it. That's great you disagree with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the only people right now who can be drafted are who?
Men.
And the reasons that we just went over previously determines that the reason that we want to draft men is for these exact reasons. Because they're stronger, they're better in combat, these are the positions we would need them in, and because these are the positions we need them in, women are excluded from those roles.
Well, again, going from special infantry to just military bodies, obviously more is just going to be better.
Why? More takes way more resources. More is not better.
Yeah, but numbers is also another strategy that wins war. If you have more soldiers than the other team.
Yeah, sure, that can be helpful, but it's more helpful to have a very well-trained, very combat-ready military.
If you're drafting, they're not going to be well-trained.
Yeah, well, we've won wars with draftees. They were plenty well-trained. So the thing is like,
but
that's
being
incorrect.
Trained and being well-trained are two different things.
I guess you had specialists too, but the point is they were very much trained and they very much kicked the shit out of half the world. So that was with draftees.
Okay.
So the thing is we've already established that men are far better in these roles than women. Men ought to be in these roles and not women. This is by your own logic. So what privileges should men get considering they can be drafted into these roles and women cannot be?
I mean, if we're going on a society based on like this is always going to be the outcome and this is a necessity, I don't think necessarily there would. I'm not against sending men to go to war against their will.
You are against it, or not?
I'm against sending men to go to war against their will. So
I thought you said not.
Oh, maybe I misspoke. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But so just to clarify for the audience, you mean you are against it? Okay.
Yes.
Just one.
I would want them to elect to go.
And so what happens if nobody goes, like they didn't want to in the Ukraine? Does Russia take the Ukraine over? Does Russia take over Ukraine?
I mean, I think it would again depend on other resources available. If there are other militaries, if there are other...
so other militaries aren't going to step in.
Then yeah, that would happen.
So
but I mean, again, forcing men to go, I mean, you can't force them to fight.
Yes, you can force men to fight.
How?
The same way they did under communism. They say you run at that machine gun nest, and if you turn around, we will kill you. And that's exactly what they did.
Oh, I mean, then...
What they did was
they
lined up thousands of Soviet soldiers, and they handed them a rifle. They said, if you die, the guy behind you pick up the rifle, reload, and continue to go.
Sure.
And if they turned around and came back, if they ran away, men with machine guns were waiting for them and mowed them all down.
Okay.
So yeah, you could definitely force men to fight. That's been done time and time again. If you ran away in World War II, you were a traitor and you were shot. That's forcing you to fight. If you run away from combat, you get shot.
Right. I'm saying, obviously, if they don't fight, they die. Like, that's clear. Mm-hmm. But, like, if they think they're going to die already...
I'm confused.
You know, going to war, they're like, I'm pretty much going to die already, so I'm just going to try and escape so I can avoid that. And if they kill me, then the outcome's the same.
Well, that's not what happens.
I guess my issue...
You're compelled and pressed into service. Like, you can't do anything. If you don't sign up for the draft as a man in the United States, you're not supposed to be able to vote.
I know.
So then how come if women don't sign up for the draft, they get to vote? That's bullshit.
Well, again, I'm against the draft.
Yeah, I got it. So then just nobody defends the nation.
Well, I think obviously within America, we have a huge society that's very big on militarism, which is why no one has been drafted.
Nobody's been drafted because we haven't fought a professional war where we had hundreds of thousands of body bags being sent home. That's why nobody's been drafted.
Well, sure, but also I would say people are joining more than they were back then.
No, I think that the rates per population, remember at the time, I think there was only 150 million people. It was like half the people at the time than there is now. Mm-hmm. So no, I think proportionally plenty of people were joining the military. I don't know if it's at the same rates because you had different benefits for it, but plenty of people were joining the military.
Okay.
The thing is, though, is that we just haven't had a war where hundreds of thousands of people die. You have to replace your soldiers, right?
Sure.
Do you think people are going to be more or less likely to join if people are dying in mass?
They'll be less likely to.
Yeah, they'd be less likely. So then what do? You compel service. Like, what else can you do other than compel service?
I mean, not go to war.
Yeah, but like you can't. Why do you think you can decide those things? Like you can't make the decision.
Because like I think there is motivation, obviously, between countries who are engaging in war and the reasons behind those.
Yeah, but you can't
I think
solve
we're
those
just,
reasons.
Like I'm not disagreeing with you that under like the idea of patriarchy that there is going to be some dependence on men, because obviously I would think that still
Under the idea of matriarchy, too.
No, I don't think that male violence would be pervasive. I mean, when do you think patriarchy?
How can?
One second. When do you
okay,
think
go ahead.
patriarchy originated?
I think it's always been the case.
Yeah, I would say patriarchy originated, depending again on what aspect, what country we're looking at or what region, would be between like 8,000 BC and 5,000 BC.
And when do you think? What do you think our oldest written record is?
I believe it's Egyptian scribes, which I think
the
is
Epic of Gilgamesh?
5,000. Yeah, isn't that when?
The Sumerian?
Yes, and isn't that when they worship female gods?
No. Anu was a male god.
No, it was a female god.
No, Anu was a male god. Promise.
No. She was the good mother.
That's not a she. It's Anu. I'm pretty confident Anu was a male god.
Inanna?
Yeah, like Anunnaki. It comes from the male god Anu.
Like the exaltation of an Anu?
No, it's just Anu. I think Anu.
Yeah, the
It
exaltation.
means God. It just means God.
Well, the exaltation of an Anu is thought to be the first poem, and that's
What about El?
a female god.
El.
What do you mean El?
El is another god. In fact, if
Okay,
you're
what
talking,
about-
in fact, I actually have a list here of Egyptian gods.
Well-
I'm sorry, pre-3500 year gods. Let me give you the list real quick.
Sure.
Just because I brought it with me. Hang on real quick, Brian, before you get into the super chats.
Oh no! While he's looking that up, you brought up the term patriarchy. Can you just define the term for the audience?
Yeah, male supremacy, domination, and dependency.
Okay, male supremacy, domination, and what was the last one? Sorry.
Dependency.
Yeah, I was
Dependence.
right.
Okay.
Anu, Mesopotamia, Sumeria, 5000 BC, king of the gods. Enlil, Mesopotamia, Sumerian. Enki, Mesopotamia. Ptah, pre-dynastic Egyptian, 6000 BC. Pre-Shupati, El, I said El, pre-Canaan, pre-Levantine, 3900 BC. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on of male gods.
All right, I'm not saying there are male gods, but wasn't that all before?
It's all before your time frame of 3,500 years ago,